We got a hot one. Russia versus the Ukraine in Heroes of the Storm. Sky Temple is going to be our first map. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not Volskaya, to be honest with you. I guess we need to have them play Volskaya, and we need to play with Zarya. I feel like that's the stereotypical requirements that we have now. Dumb jokes aside, let's see how this game is going to work out. The Russians in blue here with a quick ban on Abatha, taking the Slugger out, and we have Tyrael banned. Interesting. I mean, Stalk likes his Tyrael, I suppose, but still, I didn't really think that they would go straight in for Tyrael ban on their first ban too. So, a little bit weird, but there's the Maiev that we are used to seeing banned out. Sky Temple, of course, outside of the Abatha already being eliminated. Lends itself to an extent to the Haka being played. I kind of want to say Falstad, but then at the same time it's probably not going to be a focus on him either. He has kind of fallen off pretty heavily. Just too easily killed, a little bit weak there. Might still be coming through if you want a global, if you need a global, but I doubt it a bit. Hanzo on the first pick choice for Russia. And the Ukrainians, let's see how they're going to reply here. So, when it comes to the games, Ukraine already played against Poland in their group, and they won that match. They're 1-0 in the group stage. Russia didn't have to play it, because in the four-man group we have Portugal, and Portugal forfeited. They actually left the tournament because several of their players apparently couldn't make the tournament, so they had to forfeit a couple of games, so they're not even playing. So 2 out of the 3 still remaining teams in that group will advance, and for Russia this is, so to say, their first real game that they actually have to commit to. The Ukraine with a Tyrande pick and a Reyna pick, both of them fantastic. First of all, Reyna, of course, great to control a front line through his penetrating round, and Tyrande, we've been talking a lot about her, about everything that she adds, and we have again a Nubarak. Nubarak Malfurion is becoming more and more a big combo, Nubarak in general, because a lot of the teams right now are looking for kill compositions where they dive in deep and try and get an insta-kill. I would really like to see that reflected a little bit more in the draft, because I feel every single time that a team starts setting that up, there is no appropriate response from the opponent. I would like to see Jaina, for example, eliminated. Get Jaina out of there right away. Ban her out or pick her for yourself, one of the two. Limit your opponent's options a little bit. You can still play with a lot of other mages if you want to go for that quick kill combo, but at least try and make the life a little bit harder. Nubarak still has a couple of weaknesses. He isn't as hit point heavy as other tanks. Has to be very careful when he dives in, especially with the burrow charge. If he misses the initial stun, he's oftentimes in a lot of trouble right away. So you need to hit that stun. If that's the case, then you're usually good, but it's also one of the reasons why we oftentimes see another hero added that can go in with him. Urel, having Blaze in there, even if you have Leoric with the Ominous Wraith, that's something that can really help you out there. But the idea is always go deep, try and take someone out with a CC chain, go from there. And we have Mal'Ganis, Night Rush, Fell Claws, and Vampiric Aura back to business. Dreadlord action. Might see a double Dreadlord even. I mean, Jaina is still open. And Genji too. Mal'Ganis can still be played as the main tank, by the way, and the off tank. So both possible for him right now. They can adjust on the last pick how they want to play this, but how will Russia round out their own draft? The damage interests me mostly of all. Okay, Phoenix. No Jaina pick, actually. Arthas and Phoenix. Arthas would have been a great addition also to the Ukrainian draft, considering that they're playing Reyna here for Ace in the hole. That would have provided him even more stacks. And we've seen Arthas in the offlane quite regularly. Has a bit of a gap closer issue, but at the same time not too bad. And that leaves us with one additional tank or bruiser for Ukraine. If they want to use a bruiser instead of a main tank, Blaze would still be up. The Haka, and it's Blaze. Go for Blaze. Nobody going for the Haka, no global plays here. Ukraine going up against Russia. Game number 1, Sky Temple is the map. And we're going to jump straight in our best of 3 here at the Nexus contest. So let's just go get this show on the road, guys. Game number 1 on Sky Temple, Russia going up against the Ukraine, and to the left the Russians with Mr. Banana Beer on Phoenix. We have Farlander on Hanzo, Stalk on Nubarak on his Smurf account here, Kolya Martian on Malfurion, and Toxic on Arthas. To the right side of the map, you Ukrainians with Denado on Mal'Ganis, Candlelight on Blaze, Valamox on Genji, Witness playing on Reyna, and Zaknafane however that is going to be pronounced, on Tyrande, trying to get those follow-ups in after a Night Rush, after a stun setup, maybe through also jet propulsion. So let's see how this is going to work out. Game number 1, definitely a little bit of a spicy match that we have here in this group. Both of the teams, of course, very eager to get those quick wins and to make it out of the group stage. Portugal, part of the group, has forfeited the tournament, and therefore there's only 3 teams remaining. It's Russia, the Ukraine, and Poland. And Poland already lost 1 game against Russia. If the Ukraine is able to get another victory here by taking down Russia, then that would immediately allow them to move out of the group stage and would leave the remainder of the group up to Russia and Poland to just match it out between themselves. So definitely a little bit of a spicy situation here. We could even end up with some kind of tie, 3-way tie, depending on the result here, if Russia is able to take down the Ukraine but gets beaten by Poland. So there's a lot of ifs and whens that figure into this, but the Ukraine could definitely avoid a lot of those questions if they just get the victory against Russia here today, and they're definitely going to try. That would be the easiest way for them to make it out of the group, and that's what we're going to try and check out here. Up to the top lane, we currently have our solo with Toxic going up against Candlelight, the Arthur's Blaze battle between the 2 of them, fighting for vision here as well. And at the bottom of the map, both of the teams currently eager to get their Siege Giants into the game. Both sides doing that. Hanzo, of course, speeding up the process just slightly for Russia, and they're already heading over with Malfurion and Phoenix towards the camp at the top. Stork moving out, trying to sit in the bush here and playing this a bit safe, but Hanzo is still at the bottom. So we have a 4-man rotation from the Ukrainian team, busy between the middle and the bot lane, whereas on the other side of the map, the Russians are currently attempting to just get a few more camps, and Genji is going to sniff that out. The problem is he won't be able to do anything about it by himself, and there's no one else around except for Blaze, so even in a best case scenario, it would be a 2 versus 3, and they're not really willing to take that battle just yet. But them missing on the map gave the Ukrainians, of course, a bit of an idea that something was going on, and there's very few places where they could have been. It could have been either a trap set up in the bush somewhere or a move for the camp. And so they figured that out, but now it triggers a rotation to the top to deal with the camp as more of a 4-man. Make sure that the Russian team cannot get too much value out of it. Talent's pretty much the standard so far that we're seeing here. A little bit of adjustments that we're having from Anubarak. So we've seen the Carapace build a little bit more lately, going into the armor. And that is just in general a tool that is being used, first of all, keep Anubarak a little bit more quicker, a little bit more nimble, trying to make sure that he is also more survivable just in general. But it takes some of the engage potential that the hero offers to a composition away from him. Since you don't have Underking anymore, you don't oftentimes even have the Subterranean Shield, so their focus on the hero just shifts a little bit. You still have the tool or the power to engage, but it's not as much of a heavy dive into the backline any longer as we normally see. First objective is already on the map, and with this we're firing away, trying to take the structures out here, up to the top side. Blaze holds the experience, but he is up against Arthas right now and starts to fight for a few of those shots as well. Rest of the team is battling down here. Quick warp out from Banana Beer as he's moving away. And Stork still fighting for this one. But there's battles on both of the temples at this point in time. But so far the Ukrainians are actually doing fairly well. They're getting some at the top. Nearly the kill against Malfurion. And Genji might be a bit too deep now. He's really went really deep for that particular kill. Didn't get it, and now he falls to Phoenix, who secures the kill with a quick last shot and a hit to the face. The Russian team already ahead in experience by now, and especially with them now taking over the middle temple, this is a bit of a disaster since topside has also fallen into the hands of Arthas. So job well done here by the blue team. Icebound Fortitude now for Arthas as well. The level 7 talent's a bit quicker for them. We're having this now also with the completed, well, not quite completed, but the prolonged build on Anubarak. So obviously he can still go into his level 13, but we're having the Chitinous Plating now, the Shed Exoskeleton for him. Camp taken over here. Full focus, by the way, on Phoenix with the target acquired. So really going now into repeater cannon, that going very heavily on the auto attacks for him for the time being. Tyrande also with a standard build, getting the Celestial Attunement on 7 against all the stuns, and obviously on level 4 the stacking quest with the Lunar Blaze, trying to get that in for herself too. Hanzo, as you might have seen already with the Redemption and the sharpened arrowheads, getting the explosive arrows in. So also very much a focus on that instead of going for scatter arrows or anything on the lines. For the boss, I mean, it diminishes a little bit the speed with which you can burst the boss down, and normally boss battles are really important in the later stages of the game. For one team, it's going to be their ticket back into it if they're trying to throw a Hail Mary and maybe come back. And for the other team, it's potentially a chance to get even farther ahead. Night Rush for the sleep, not quite connecting here, trying to set Tyrande up, but the stun is already on cooldown. A 4 versus 4 at the bottom of the map. And it's a bit of a dicey situation for the Ukraine because they're behind by an entire level. And that means once we have the second temple being announced, there is very likely going to be a level 10 ability ready for the blue team, and the Ukraine just doesn't have that. So this is already showcasing some of the momentum that you can build up on Sky Temple. The top side has worked so far quite well for Blaze, but still Toxic is able to save the fort here. Losing the Fountain, on the other hand, is already taking some of the lane sustain away you will usually want to have. He tapped it before it went down, so that was fine. But as you can tell now, level 10 abilities, full level lead. And with that, I would be quite shocked if the Ukrainian team would actually start making a move for the bottom temple. This one, the fort already taking a lot of damage, not only through the temple alone, but also just with the minions now being escorted in. And they're rotating again. The Russians are down at the bottom of the map, and they're going straight in for a kill on the fort. And the Ukraine is falling apart a little bit here. They're rotating topside now, only keeping Reyna in the middle, and they're hoping to get at least some structural damage in by taking the fort top. But that's an exchange that doesn't necessarily work in their favor, because they're still losing out on the temple at the bottom. So a second fort is already about to go down here in the middle, and then the attack is going to focus towards the top side. So even with level 10 in the hands of the Ukrainian players, the rotation to the bottom of the map is going to be very much delayed, and it's very unlikely they're going to get any shots here. It's a tough spot for them to be in. Banana Beer is trying to push that out. Needs to be really careful because there's a chance for an attack against him. Arrow by Hanzo being used for potential engage in the mid lane, on the other hand. Ukraine is trying to go for a kill and a setup. Cocoon is being used and burned down in seconds. But the boss even triggered. Genji needs to jump away and does so. And Malfurion is still at the bottom of the map. But it's really not a good spot for the Ukraine to be in. 3 forts lost already. And we're having Arthurs taking over the bottom of the map to get the final 5 in. And that is quite tricky. The problem with Sky Temple in general is that once that you fall behind in structures, you can't go for even trades on the objective with the opponent anymore, because eventually they're going to win the game that way. Or they're going to take down the keeps. So Ukraine is already thinking about, okay, do we have to force a fight on the boss at some point? Because if they fall too far behind, even with only 1 kill against them, that's what they might have to do. And they're forcing the fight right now. They're stealing the camp away. No, they actually are not. It's still taken by Russia. Fake news. We have Valamax nearly going down, but he still has the Dragon Blade. He's trying to get the kill against Arthas, and yes, they do. In comes the Dreadlord and takes the hero apart. Good kill for them. Maybe a move for boss, I would say no, especially with the Hanzo arrows still available here. But they have a bit more map control and can now use that to maybe get more experience, rotate onto the lanes. But there's little to gain. Nice dodge by Donato. Sorg was moving in with the Nubarak, and if he connects there, there's a good chance that Malfurion has the time to follow it up. And if that happens, then we are in a really awkward spot for the Dreadlord, who could actually go down, and a counter kill there is really something you want to avoid. But they're taking that bit of map control that they can actually get, so they're moving in with Vision at the top. They took one of the camps that was available, but they're still an entire level behind. Level behind and a talent down, so still an odd situation for them to be in, and we should also see the next one announced soon. Attempt to go for Malfurion. Well, that didn't quite work out for them here. 13 versus 12. And here comes the double temple. Now again, if it is an exchange in shots and temples, that would not really work for the Ukraine. They need to get more out of this because they're already behind from a structural perspective. Keep in mind that this, that would be a disaster. If the Russians actually take the boss now, that will be horrifying for the Ukraine. Because this is another big spot here. It's not only about the 2 temples. You have, so to say, a third objective on the map, and that's the boss. And it looks like they're going to get it. Valamax is checking everything, but they're not arriving in time there, are they? Maybe, just maybe. And no, the stun was perfect from Stork. The boss is taken. The interrupt against the ult from Phoenix. He warps out, but barely. The arrow from Hanzo already hitting, and they are low. If Ukraine loses players here, it would be a disaster. They had talent down. They're trying to get the kill against Arthas, and they do. But here comes the second attempt of Phoenix to get the damage in, and he's able to take down Genji, and he's not the only one. Tyrande falls too, and in comes Hanzo. Bam! Arrow to the face, straight into the eyes of Blaze. He goes down. That's a triple kill. A 1 for 4. As the Dreadlord falls, both of the temples are still up, and this is going to be an easy keep at the bottom of the map already. The Russian team with a fantastic start into this best-of-3 series. If they'll go for both of... They might even go core here. But if they play it safe, they can just simply go for both of the temples right now, and they will get a massive structural advantage. And yes, they leave. They play it safe. They rotate Malfurion down to the bottom of the map. Ukrainian team has to deal with the boss. And now we're having in the middle immediately one temple taken, second one down here at the bottom. That's a massive amount of shots fired into the middle and will very likely eliminate another keep. First one down already. Only a 3-kill difference, but we have a 3-level difference as a result with the additional talent advantage here too. It is a disaster for the Russian team here. Valamax is trying to get the kill against Fana. He will actually get it. Solo kill against Hanzo. Get wrecked, son. And that was a really cool move by him. Doesn't really change the outcome of the mid lane though. The keep is still gonna fall. It's a good move. Was a good move. Helps them a little bit. But does it help them enough? It might be too little too late. Here comes the kill against the keep. And more damage towards the top. 2 lanes completely obliterated. And it's tough going from here on out. Ukrainians are double checking the camp. Hello? Alright, he's keen. He might actually fall if the stun is ready in a second. Even has to use the Dragon Blade to get away from this. Okay, using the cooldown. I was just like, dude, you have, I mean, balls of steel, yeah. But that might not be quite the table where we want to put them on. That was a little bit weird by him. Had to use the ult. I'm not quite sure how much it's going to matter. I mean, it's still a pretty big cooldown to be burned. Down for another 80 seconds. The question is, of course, do we see a big team fight before it happens? Most likely not, since they still don't have level 16 talent. So they're going to try and play this safe and gather experience until then. So, shouldn't really make a big impact. But it's still a little bit ambitious, what we saw here from him. I mean, the blue team is far ahead right now. It's one of the big things on Sky Temple. Again, if you lose the objective early on, if you fall behind around level 10, then you're normally in trouble, structurally speaking. And the Russian team played it really well with good coordinated attacks towards the fort in the middle a bit earlier to relieve it of some additional hit points, grab the boss as well. So they're doing extremely well with this, and they don't have to force anything here. 16 is nearly there. Genji gets out. Still 35 seconds on his ult. So he's going to be ready with it. But yeah, again, big cooldown to be burned. But the map control in the hands of the Russian team. They're even pushing the lanes out now too. Already preparing for the next move. Will not really go for core. But they will force a reaction out of their opponent. And will focus or shift the attention a little bit more towards the bottom. Now just as the temple spawns. Another engage onto Mal'Ganis. Stuns are coming out. Here's the root too. And the Dreadlord in trouble. Goes for the Carrion Swarm here. Hyperion and Bunker on the ground as well as they're attempting to drop Phoenix. But especially Malfurion keeping the rest of the team alive here with his ult. Going straight for the Tranquility. Big exchange in cooldowns. Nothing really happening in terms of kills, but a big connect again on the side of the Russians as they take down Genji and they go for the Dreadlord. Denardo dies. That's the double kill right there, and they might make it the triple as Candlelight is also finding his demise. Blaze down. That's 3 heroes dead. Toranda's gonna fall too, and this is going to be game as we are seeing the Russian team make their way towards the core. And taking the lead in the best-of-3 series in a pretty convincing fashion. 9 kills against 3. Very well done by them here. And an easy victory on Sky Temple. So congratulations to the Russian team. Let's see if the Ukrainians can turn this around in game number 2. GG. Well played. Game number 2. Dragonshire is the map, and we have Russia in the lead. Great game, actually, from them on Sky Temple. Played really well here, and a pretty dominant one, too. Dragonshire is map number 2. So Russia is going to try and make this a 2-0. And it actually looks pretty good. It's their map choice, by the way. So the Russian team was... so every single time a team loses, right, they get the choice in the next match. Do they want to have first pick, first ban, or do they want to have map choice? And we're having the Ukrainians now with map choice. Sorry, with the first pick and first ban, and therefore the Russian team took the map. And we have Dragonshire, which is very heavy on the rotations too, and on the macro control. So they're going to try and use that again. Turanda banned out, Maiev banned out. I don't think we've seen a single Maiev game, by the way, yet. Did we see one? I can't remember, but I don't think so in the Nations Cup in general, the Nexus contest here. And Nubura gets banned too, so a bit of a respect ban towards Stork, who is playing on his Smurf account here, just saying like, yeah, we don't deal with it a noob anymore. They engage a little bit too strong, and he did well. Like, good cocoons, good engagers, forced the fights here too. So we'll see how that's going to work out for them. But last ban, Abatha again. They don't like to deal with a slug. A little bit too slimy for their taste. But in comes the first pick, and you can already... Okay, Tyrael. Now keep in mind, they actually banned out Tyrael in the last game, so they didn't want, I assume, Stork to have Tyrael, and tried to deny a bit of a preference pick. This time they don't ban him out, but they pick him first. It's an interesting start, considering that normally we are seeing either Garrosh or Diablo picked in this setup. And the Russian team, again, with a Hanzo and Malfurion. This time they can't combo Malfurion off with the Nubarak for an engage. In theory, you can still throw the odd Varian out. We sometimes actually still see Varian, even on the higher level, if you want to go for a heavy snipe combo. Not saying that it would be a great choice here. I actually think it would cause a bit of a problem on the top lane. But Malfurion is still great with any kind of follow-up with his roots. And Tracer, that's a quick one. Arthur's Tyrael Tracer. Not the start into the game that I expected here. I think they were a bit afraid that if they don't take Tracer now, she's going to be banned out against them. So we're going to have Tracer zipping around again on Dragonshire. Arthur's holding the top lane. So at this point, the Russian team already knows what exactly they have to throw out in order to have something present on the lane. Dehaka is still great on the map. Blaze is obviously still very good. Could go into a Thrall. Could also drop a Leoric. Bit less likely. And here comes Genji. Banned out after picked in the first game, even though it wasn't successful. I mean, the combo that we're gonna see here for the Ukraine is really not gonna be too crazy. If they add good damage. But it's definitely a bit of a weird priority that they have. I honestly have the feeling that a lot of this is reflecting knowledge of the opponent's team and what they want as personal preferences. And you have to also keep in mind, we're not quite on the super pro level here, so we're not quite on HGC level when it comes to the plays. HGC players are only allowed to coach these teams, but they're not allowed to play in them. So this is still a level below the ex-HGC level that we saw there. So that explains some of the differences that we're seeing in meta choices that are being made between hero picks and bans. But with Garrosh banned out, it leaves Diablo open. We have Johanna open, Muradin too. Again, we talk oftentimes about Muradin on Dragonshire as being a hero that gets a bit more value. One of the reasons why teams like Dignitas picked him very heavily in the past. Forgot even about Urel at the top lane. So Urel obviously on Dragonshire, fantastic. Talked about this in one of the previous series, because you can jump onto the shrine, but you can you have really easy just movements between the lane itself and the shrine. So you can go for the objective and catch the lane experience, while most of your opponents, Arthur's in particular, are going to be having a very tough time. I could definitely see Arthur's being in the 4-man rotation and seeing Tyrael at the top for that very reason. Jaina taken as a damage, and Rhaegar. Rhaegar, to be honest, was always a hero that the Russians and the Ukrainians, just the Eastern Europeans in general, had a little bit of a crush on. Back in, even in the days when nobody was playing Rhaegar, these were the players and the teams that were still looking at Rhaegar as one of the heroes. And I personally really like it. I think Rhaegar can be a lot of fun, especially in the hands of a good player. Diablo comes in to round the draft out. I think Russia walked away with a great draft here. Let's see how the Ukrainian players are going to get the damage in, if Tracer and Jaina are going to be enough. Let's head into game number 2. Dragonshire between Russia and the Ukraine. Game number 2, Dragonshire. Russian team to the left in blue with Mr. Banana Beer on Phoenix, Farlander on Hanzo, Kolya Martian on Malfurion, Stork on Diablo. The name apparently means small potato, always better than a big potato in the game. And Toxic on Urel with the right side of the map, the red team, the Ukrainians with Candlelight on Arthas, Denado on Tyrael, Valamax on Jaina, Witness on Tracer, and Zaknefane on Rhaegar. I'm butchering that pronunciation, I'm well aware of it, but I'm not even gonna try here. So as I said before, the group is a bit weird since Portugal has left the group. So instead of a 4-team group, we now have only 3 teams present. And that means that one of the 3, or 2 out of the 3 between Russia, the Ukraine and Poland will advance. The Ukraine already won against Poland. So even if the Ukraine loses this series, the big question is, can Poland defeat Russia, yes or no? And then we might even end up in a 3-way tie. So it's going to make for some really interesting situations in that particular group. But through the victory over Poland, it is possible that the Ukraine is going to advance. It depends a little bit on how Russia plays. Always assuming, for that particular argument, that Russia is going to take the series. But then again, we're only in game number 2, so there's definitely a chance that the third game is going to be forced out of this. Farlander already on the money pick, really liking that. Oink, oink. Getting a little bit of money pick action in there. And yeah. He doesn't write the perfect money pick, don't get me wrong. Like, if you go for the pink one, that's just fantastic. But if you only can afford the bronze money pick, then by all means, money pick is better than no money pick. Outside of that, we're having camps taken. And there's a little bit of a difference here when it comes to the priorities. Siege Shire camp taken at the bottom of the map. They're also scouting that this one is not claimed yet. But especially with Rhaegar and the wave killer that he offers on the support side, you can now take the Knight camp, the Bruiser camp, and you can start to move in through the top and really execute a huge push here. If you rotate a hero or 2 up while the camp moves in, which is exactly what they're doing, you can really do a lot of work here, especially if you would have delayed this a little bit and maybe not shown everyone just yet. But that gives a lot of push power to you. And there's a 3 versus 2 now set up, and they're actually going for Phoenix, and they're dropping quite a few hit points before he can warp out. Even Tracer was moving in for this one. Down to the bottom of the map, still the Siege Giant push, but Valamax on his Jaina has a lot of wave clear that he can now bring to the table to drop this. Top side, Urel jumps in again, tries to be aggressive around it, but as you can tell, they are starting to heavily attack the wall. And that's a play that Dignitas in the past has executed in HGC with huge success early on in the game. Both of the turrets are already down, but then again, we're seeing the Russian team with a rotation from Diablo, moves in, gets locked down though, and they are actually getting attacked heavily, and there's still the spell aura active, and Stork goes down. Kill against him, 1 eliminated, and now it's a 5 versus 4 as Jaina rotates in, and the rest of the Russian team is also trying to set up the defense here. And the spell aura is still there, protected by Rhaegar the entire time, and you can see how difficult it is for the blue team to deal with all of that. The fountain is down as a nice attempt to maybe even get a kill, but as long as the Ukrainian players walk away here, they have a huge lead in this already. This is going to offset the entire balance on the top side simply because the wall is down and the fountain has been eliminated too. So all of a sudden we're seeing Arthas rotating down, Candlelight is going to try and take this one, and the rest of the team just attempting to even steal a Dragon Knight here. But even if they can't do that, them taking out the fountain was big. This on the other hand is a problem. Arthas dying on the solo lane is annoying. There is a bright side to it. They don't lose any real experience because the rotation is already happening, so it's not like they're losing too much in terms of minion waves. Uh-oh, but they're maybe even losing Tracer. No, she barely gets away. That was a close call by Witness, though. That was way too close for comfort. Now Jaina is in trouble, too, but Diablo is not ready to really follow this up yet. Tracer couldn't have helped. She was a bit too low as well. And up to the top lane, Tyrael still fighting with Urel. Everybody going in on the action right now, but definitely the Ukraine fighting back a lot more. Great start when it comes to structural advantages on the map. Not a little bit problematic, still in experience. They don't have the level 7 talent, and this is just as we're seeing the Russian team again try and push the advantage. Nice kill by Tracer though. Well done. Level 7 in their hands now as well, and Witness is looking for the second kill. Has to be a bit cautious here, especially with the roots on the ground, and there they are against Rhaegar, and a great follow-up by Stork. They get the kill, but the Dragon Knight has been secured in the meantime, and Jaina is already on it. Huge brawl all over the map. Kills coming in on both sides, but the Dragonite is taken, and that allows the Ukrainians now to try and get a few of those towers out of the game. Bot lane, still more pressure that we're seeing from the red team. Pushing out the wave here, getting a bit of extra experience for themselves. But how much can they actually do with a DK? It's an early DK. Pre 5 minutes. Not really that strong just yet, but another attack against Phoenix. He's able to warp out, and the lockdown doesn't hit him in time to prevent that from happening. He also didn't lose anything in terms of hit points, only lost a couple of the shields, and that's about it. But that being said, very more aggressive game that we're seeing from the red team. I'm really liking it. It's a great response to game number 1 that we saw on Sky Temple, and you have to keep in mind, this is actually the Russian map choice. So the blue team chose the map here, since we had first pick, first ban from the Ukrainians. 9 against 9 in just a few seconds, and again the focus on the maps. Rhaegar is great for this. It's one of the things that he really adds as a support. It's not only the burst heal around level 10, which admittedly is a little bit harder to hit because of that extra delay that you have, but it's also the lightning shield and just the wave clear that you can provide to your team, especially on an off lane when you are very much alone on a camp and you have to go for there. So he can definitely help out with a lot of that. We've seen similar approach in the past where a team would pick, let's say, Greymane, for example, or just a hero in general that has really easy camp clear. For now, when we're looking towards the blue team, we have Hanzo, and he can help out with that too. But there's, again, the camp taken towards the top side, down here to the bottom. It's the Siege Giant camps going up against each other. But now we're having both with a quick Bruiser camp here. Yeah, Rhaegar needs to be careful. They're both level 10, but still. Sanctification, Ancestral Healing, the Ring of Frost, Army of the Dead, all claimed already, and they're starting to move in. They're actually looking to see if they can maybe gank up on somebody here. Diablo sees it though, doesn't charge in immediately, but here comes Tyrael, here comes the Blizzard as well. They're trying to take down the Mage, the bomb again against Malfurion, but here comes the Ancestral. Tracer goes down, nice Tranquility from Malf. Rhaegar, is he going to survive this? Rhaegar actually walks away from it, but Jaina isn't quite as successful with the retreat. She falls too. That's a double kill for the blue team. Great kill against Tracer in particular. Even the Sanctification coming down, but it didn't come fast enough. I'm actually not quite sure how exactly that Ancestral hit, if it was properly on a hero or if he misclicked and wanted to hit Tracer originally. Happened a little bit too fast. But at the end of the day, we're looking at a 2-kill advantage now for the blue team. And they are starting to gain a lead again. And they're already working on the Dragonite, and they get it. 7 minutes in, DK in the hands of Stork as he moves through the middle. And as we just talked about, the Ukrainian team getting a bit of a head start into game number 1. It's already turning on its head as we have the Russians with heavy pressure through the bot lane this time. Already opening up the wall in the middle, but now aiming for the first fort of the game. Engaging without even having a minion wave present to soak some of the shots. Don't really care too much about that. Couple of Dragon Breaths are going to eliminate the minions on the other side. And they're now going for the fort as well. Urel and Arthur still in the rotation to catch the experience in the mid and top. But definitely great position now for the Russian team. Nearly level 13 for them as well, so the extra talent would help them additionally in a great spot that they're in already. They can drop the fountain here, that would be also extremely great, trying to burn the wave down. Dragonite is still alive, does have 36% HP, but can get just a couple of lightning breaths in. Gets a quick punt and a bit of damage. I mean, very unlikely that they can take the entire fort, or can they? The wave pushes in, they might have a chance here. Here comes the engage, Tracer with a kill attempt, and they get the kill against Hanzo. Hanzo goes down, and can they get more? That's the big question. Sanctification already on the ground, as we have the attempt of Phoenix to get the ult through. Not a lot of damage from him, 0 actually. Tranquility comes in, but Phoenix is about to fall. He barely gets away. And 1 kill is all that the Ukrainian team is able to accomplish here. They drop Hanzo. They don't have the level 13 talents, but they now have the numeric advantage, and they attempt to use that to get the Siege Giants of their opponent. Heavy invade coming in from them, but we have Russia willing to fight here, going in, trying to go for Tyrael. The arrow comes out and it hits hard. Lightning Breath too, and down goes Rhaegar. They're pushing. Ooh, that was a bit of a weird one. Arthur's was pushed away in that last engage by Urel. If they play that a bit differently, they might be able to pick up a second kill here. Regardless of that, they got 1 kill, they nearly dropped Tyrael, so he needs to retreat too. And they still have the level lead and the talent advantage, so they can now transfer that into another camp claimed, get the Siege Giant camp, and it's a heavy pressure play through the bottom of the map now. Double wave, double Siege Giant camp, and a catapult pushing in. They're going to try and drop the wall here. It's unlikely for them to get more than that, but even opening up the wall down to the bottom of the map is going to give them a huge advantage for future Dragon Knights. They might be able to go straight for keep and maybe even core depending on the time and how much the Dragon Knight already scaled. So the wall is an easy pick. Arthas is thinking about a flank from behind here and setting up an attack, but they are looking to get some damage onto the keep itself. Here comes the engage. Tyrael jumps in and out, but he's already on half HP. Jaina is not looking too hot either. And Arthur still hasn't made the move. Here comes the arrow. They're trying to go in. Ancestral already saving them. The ring not doing too much, locking the Urel down for a second. But she's still fine. And here comes Arthas, and he might be a bit late to the party. Sanctification on the ground from Tyrael as we have the blue team slowly retreat. But just look at the keep. It's nearly gone. I really didn't think they would be able to do this much damage. He nearly took the keep, and in the middle the fort is falling. The wave might even take it down. Not quite, but it's close, and they can always poke away here. 2-level lead nearly for them, and it's a great position for the blue team to be in. Toxic against Candlelight, that's what we're seeing down here. The rest of the team is rotating in too to prevent the decay from being claimed again, but that means that Hanzo can now simply move into the middle and take this one quite easily as long as everybody else is just focused on the bottom of the map. Another Bruiser camp about to be taken too. And they might have a bit of an inkling of what's going on there, but they're not double checking it just yet. So that camp should be claimed, and it is. But everybody else is willing to fight here. Well, maybe not quite willing yet, because if you're that close to 16, you're going to question that choice. You're going to ask yourself, is that really worth it? Do we really want to take that battle just now? And, well, Diablo, he wants it. And he's going in for it. They're going for the fight. Here comes Malfurion. Is it going to be the Tranquility? Lightning Breath already used. They're getting Tyrael really low. And they claim the position again. Phoenix is thinking about moving mid lane to get another Dragon Knight. Arrow against 3, and it's a big one. The ring comes out, but Jaina is already dead. Hanzo dies, the counter kill is ready, but Tyrael is also getting dropped. He tries to get the explosion value, and he gets some. Ancestral again to top up Arthas, but it's still a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the blue team. They're looking at 7 kills against 4 now. Mid lane wide open, and Diablo already starting the channel here. Stalk with another Dragon Knight, and he's going to be starting moving through. The 16 talents give them a huge advantage, and the keep at the bot lane is so low that this is going to be easy pickings for them. Question is just, what are they doing with that? Are they only going for the keep? Are they going to try and get a little bit more? It's unlikely that they can go for the core here. Hanzo isn't with them. And now, thanks to the defender's advantage and the red team's heroes spawning a little bit faster, they have an easy time defending. So you only get the keep. Can move maybe in the middle and drop a bit of that wall too. But losing the keep bot side is, of course, another big advantage now for them. Still starting to move in, and Tyrael has to be careful. Broccoli is already there. Little Groot trying to get some damage, and yeah, just poking away. Can't really invest too much here. Waiting for the rest of the team to escort some minions in. That's one of the main reasons. You want to have minions pushing with you so that they soak some of the shots from the turrets and from the fort. That's the main reason for it. So now the Dragon Knight re-engages and can't be burned down that quickly. It's one of the biggest mistakes that you see in amateur play, that teams approach the wall, a fort or a keep with the Dragon Knight only without any minions whatsoever. It's definitely worth it if you're just trying to get the last few hit points of a keep at the bot lane, but if you are trying to get some actual value towards a wall, it's a different story. Nice Nature's Cure here from Malfurion, making sure that the Howling Blast and the lockdown attempt doesn't really hit home. They open the wall, that works for them. But the Ukrainians are about to get level 16, and that gives them another chance to fight back. But before it happens, we're having the Russian team going straight for another Siege Giant camp, invading it and stealing it away from their opponent. Quick snipe by them. And towards the top of the map now, another Bruiser camp being attacked. But there's already nearly the invade. Stalk was looking for it. They knew it was coming. Arthas has to deal with the bot lane now. I mean, there's catapults massing, there's siege giants. You can't leave that bot lane alone anymore. But that also leaves your heroes vulnerable. Jaina is being pushed out and they can't quite get the kill there. That was a close call regardless. Diablo just couldn't close the distance to get the flip in and go for the domination reset. So instead they're just deep pushing the top side. There's still a siege giant down there. There's two. This is not good. This is not good at all. That's a lot of damage on it. They need to send someone back, wave or no wave. That will eventually do damage, especially with another catapult pushing in on the next wave to come. The top pressure here, they're trying to go for a fight. The Ukrainians are a little bit desperate, but there are only 4 heroes here. They have sent Jaina back to deal with the situation. A quick blizzard solved the problem, but it also means that the fight and the push at the top lane can't be quite as effective because you cannot really engage into that 4 versus 5 battle against your opponent. Fair enough. Looking at the damage output a little bit, to just give you a bit of an idea. Phoenix is so far doing fairly well here with 42,000 damage. Tracer, of course, trying to get those earlier kills. The heal power of Rhaegar, again reflected in the ancestral healing. Having that burst heal is great. But still, you look at the kill count and it's a different story. 7 against 4. Malfurion with his tranquility is definitely putting some numbers onto the board for his team. But great play here from Phoenix regardless. Very solid damage by him. And now there's another Dragonite on the map, and the problem, of course, or one of the problems, is that level 19 could be 20 soon enough. Another camp taken, another bot lane pressure camp. And they're going to be willing to fight soon. There's 1 wave, there's 2. Once this is getting pushed in, you have a 3rd one, and that's nearly level 20 for you. They're close. If they get a kill, oh my god! There comes the quick move with the Ancestral onto Tracer. She actually survives for now. Sanctification is in. Ring of Frost connects with Malfurion. He is nearly dead, but we have Phoenix also about to fall. Tracer is low too, but they cannot get the kill. Malfurion is down, and so is Phoenix. The Ukraine is back to business all of a sudden. More kills coming in. Vala dies. Vala isn't even in the game, so she's dead already, but Jaina dies. Tracer, on the other hand, survives still. Someone has to deal with the bot lane, and yeah, that core is losing some hit points. With Jaina not being there, you don't have the wave clear, but they might be able to get the Dragonite. Oh, that's 40% gone already, and it doesn't even stop. 50% gone on the core nearly. Oh, that hurts. Down to 52, but they got 3 kills out of it. They got 3 kills and maybe the ticket back into the game. But now Farlander is taking the bottom, Diablo is taking the top. That's buying a lot of time. Nearly impossible for the Ukraine to now get a DK out of this. They're trying though. They're really trying here. But Hanzo rotates top. They're trying to get at least one of them. They have level 20, so that helps. But they might be a bit late. Ooh, they haven't even captured the bot lane just yet. And now they're going for Arthas. Arthas is being zoned down a bit. Stealing this one away. There's 5 on the map again. If they can prevent it long enough, but the channel has started, it's unlikely. Diablo is trying, he's getting zoned out, and Tracer takes the DK. Is that going to be enough, though? Because right now with the Dragonite, what are you going to do? Are you going to try and push through the bot lane? Nope, they're actually going into the middle. That means that bot lane is still pushing with the catapult, so they have to be careful here. But we're 17 minutes in, the Dragonite is hitting a bit harder. Not super scaled just yet, but it's enough to take down a 4 tier for sure. If they just get a few more hits in, but Tracer retreating at this point already. Not really willing to do too much here. They're still a level away from level 20. 20 is fairly strong in the hands of the Russians though. Bottom of the map, 1 catapult only pushing through with this. It's not going to be enough. The fort falls, that's at least something. But the Dragonite is gone. The DK is gone, still half a level away, even a little bit more from level 20. They see Arthas and they start going in. He gets the push, they try to follow that up. Here comes the Hellgate, body blocks are in, and ult on the side of Phoenix. Could see that here, explosion against Diablo. That's not going to do anything against him. Tracer's trying to get the damage in, but it's not enough, not by a long shot. Ancestral healing already had to be used to save her. The arrow comes out and immediately the purification salvo is in. Ring of Frost, the kill against Phoenix, but Arthas falls and the lightning breath is in play. Hoppity hop as Urel jumps in, tries to get in front of them to lock them out and push them away. Another quick jump attempt here any second. The shields are in from Tyrael. She's trying to go on Jaina, and Jaina dies as Diablo dives in deep for another quick wall stun and the kill. He makes it too as he drops Tyrael as well, and that should be game as the Russian team goes straight for the core. They're looking powerful here. 52% so far only, and 3 heroes down. That should be easy pickings here for the blue team. They're starting to move in for it. The shields are about to fall. They're trying to go for another kill, and Tracer barely moves away from it. Witness is low though and has to be careful. Even Rhaegar is having trouble to heal him up again. The shields are gone, and they are going for the kill against Tracer, and they will end it with the core falling. Russia taking a 2-0 victory over the Ukraine at the Nexus Contest group stage.